shocking rumor is spreading fast. During an operation targeting Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro, US special operators were allegedly using a mysterious sonic weapon. The claim, hundreds of Venezuelan soldiers collapsed and started bleeding from the nose almost instantly. A few dozen operators, a much larger force, no shots fired. That's the story. But is it real? Do sound weapons actually do that? Or is it just a modern myth with blockbuster level storytelling? Today, we're breaking down 7 sound-based or frequency-based systems that gets labeled as sonic weapons. Some are real and deployed. Some are real but rare. Some are mostly just rumors. Welcome back to Everything Weapons channel. Let's begin. LRAD stands for Long Range Acoustic Device. It's basically a high-powered, highly directional speaker. People call it a sound cannon. Instead of blasting sound everywhere, it focuses a beam of noise at a target. At close range, it can reach roughly 150 decibels. That's beyond the pain threshold. What happens to you? Ear pain, disorientation, temporary hearing loss, and a very strong reflex to cover your ears. Engineers have described it as invisible handcuffs, because the moment it hits, people often stop, flinch, and grab their ears. Now, here's the key point. LRAD is usually classified as less lethal. The goal is pain and confusion, not killing. Has it been used in the real world? Yes. It grew out of military demand for long-range warning and communication. In 2005, it made headlines when a cruise ship was attacked by pirates off Somalia. The crew activated an LRAD blast, and the sound reportedly helped drive the pirates off. After that, versions of LRAD spread. Navies used them for anti-piracy and port security. Police and military units used them for crowd control. The UK reportedly installed LRAD systems along the River Thames during the security preparations for the 2012 Olympics. Reality check. Movies show sonic gun launching people across the rooms. That's not LRAD. LRAD doesn't explode heads. It doesn't rupture organs on command. It hurts. It overwhelms. It pushes people back. If you're too close, permanent hearing damage is possible. But that's directly tied to LRAD or rare. Bottom line, LRAD is real, effective, and nasty. Just not a magical drop everyone instantly button. Now we shift from sound to frequency. The Active Denial System, or ADS, is a US military microwave system. Its nickname is brutally honest, the pain ray. LRAD uses audible sound. ADS uses a focused beam of microwaves, around 95 GHz. What does it do? It penetrates only the outer layer of skin, about 0.4 millimeters. That's enough to rapidly heat water molecules near the surface. The sensation is immediate, a sharp, burning pain. Imagine an unseen blast of heat. Not a flame, more like your skin suddenly screaming, "Get out!" That's why ADS has been pitched as the crowd control holy grail. People retreat automatically. No bullets, no shrapnel. ADS has been tested and discussed for real deployments. In 2010, a unit was sent to Afghanistan for base defense, but it was later pulled back without being used. One likely reason, optics. A beam with no obvious visual cue used on people is a PR disaster waiting to happen. Here's the scary part. It's silent, and it's not visibly detectable. Only the target feels it. But here's the nuance. Even though it feels like burning, ADS is designed to not ignite the skin. The pain comes from rapid surface heating. Step out of the beam, and the pain fades quickly, unless the exposure goes too long. Then burns are possible. Myth check. You'll hear it cooks people like a microwave oven. That's not the intended use. The exposure time is short and aimed at pain compliance, not destruction. Still, ADS is controversial. Some worry about long-term effects. Others fear abuse. That's part of why it's more famous as an idea than as a common battlefield tool. Sometimes, a weapon's biggest impact is psychological. ADS is a perfect example. Next is the weirdest one. MEDUSA sounds like mythology, but this concept is modern and unsettling. MEDUSA stands for Mob Excess Deterrent using silent audio. Silent audio. That's the contradiction. The idea relies on something often called the microwave auditory effect. With certain pulsed microwave signals aimed at a person, the target can perceive sounds inside their head. Clicks, buzzing, and in some claims, voice-like audio, even when the environment is quiet. Important detail, it's not a speaker. It's a perception effect. The brain registers sound without external sound waves. Back in the mid-2000s, the US reportedly explored MEDUSA as a compact, vehicle-sized device. The goal was temporary disruption, force disturbing sounds into someone's perception, make them back off. You can see why people connect it to the voice of God legend. The idea of hearing command inside your skull is pure nightmare fuel, but reporting suggests the project was later cancelled quietly. A major concern is the risk of permanent neurological harm. A less lethal tool that might cause brain injury is a legal and ethical minefield. There's also a testing problem. How do you prove it works safely? You'd basically have to aim microwaves at your own people. Not many volunteers for that. So what's the reality today? It suggests the concept isn't pure science fiction, but there's no solid public proof of a widely deployed, practical Medusa-style weapon in real operations. And those viral rumors, like whispers someone into suicide, don't have credible support. In real life, reliable effects would likely require complex gear, serious power, and short range. For now, MEDUSA looks more like an unsettling research direction than a proven super weapon. Now let's jump to history. Sound weapon ambitions didn't start yesterday. In World War II, Nazi Germany reportedly pursued a project called Schallkanone, German for sound cannon. The concept sounds like pulp sci-fi, the methane combustion chamber producing repeated blast pulses, amplified through massive parabolic dishes, outputting powerful low-frequency energy around 44 Hz. The theory was simple: shake the body, disrupt balance, create nausea, maybe worse. Claims from that era said it could cause dizziness and violent nausea at a few hundred meters by affecting the inner ear. And at closer ranges, the story escalates. Internal organs could be rattled, with lungs being special concerns because they're filled with air. On paper, it's an invisible death machine. In practice, not so much. The prototype was reportedly bulky and fragile. Those giant dishes were easy targets. Warp the surface and the focus and amplification fall apart. And the biggest problem was practical distance. To deliver meaningful energy, it likely needed to be dangerously close to the target. It's hard to do that in real combat. The project never became a finished, field-ready weapon before Nazi Germany collapsed. After the war, reports suggested that Allies captured a prototype and judged it ineffective and impractical. So yes, the experiments were real, but the superweapon's reputation is inflated. To this day, there's no confirmed case of pure sound being used to kill large numbers of people on battlefield. Now back to Maduro. More credible reporting frames the alleged operation as a fast-in, fast-out mission with a large-scale coordination. But the sonic weapons made soldiers collapse claim mostly appears in rumor-heavy coverage. Some of the loudest versions come from tabloid-style stories, and so far, there's been no public confirmation from major official sources that a secret sound cannon was used. More serious discussion tends to emphasize something else: electronic warfare. Blind radar, disrupt communications, create confusion, create silence. Picture it, you're on a battlefield, then your radio goes dead, your radar goes blind. Warning systems go quiet, no orders, no awareness, no clarity. That silence can be more terrifying than any loud weapon. Now, we enter the rumor zone. Number 5. The Sonic Attack Havana Mystery. In 2016 and 2017, US and Canadian diplomats in Havana reported strange symptoms: severe headaches, dizziness, hearing problems, insomnia. In some cases, signs of brain injury. Many said they heard an odd sound like insects chirping, then pressure in the ears, then illness. This became known as Havana Syndrome, and it sparked theories of an attack with no obvious source. The story expanded in 2018 when US diplomats in Guangzhou reported similar symptoms. That escalated suspicion that American personnel was being targeted. Investigations followed. Theories exploded across global media: sonic gun, microwave weapon, ultrasound accident. So what's the truth? There's still no single official answer everyone agrees on. Scientific reviews have offered competing explanations. One major review suggested directed pulsed microwave energy as a plausible cause. That points away from normal audible sound and towards something closer in spirit to microwave-based mechanisms. Other ideas have included ultrasound from equipment, unintended environmental factors, or even natural sources. Some analysts argued recording sounds matched crickets, and there's also the possibility of stress-driven group spread symptoms. As of now, the US government has not publicly identified a confirmed perpetrator. No device has been seized. No suspect has been publicly tied to the incidents. The Havana story shows why invisible weapons narrative spreads so fast. They're terrifying and they're cinematic. They're hard to disprove, but at this moment, direct proof of a specific weapon system remains absent. The final explanation is a mix of factors rather than a deliberate attack. Number 6. China's microwave weapon on the India border. In late 2020, as China-India tensions rose in Ladakh, a sensational story appeared. China allegedly used a microwave weapon to make Indian soldiers vomit and retreat. The story traced back to comments from a Beijing University professor. He claimed China used a secret microwave device to avoid violating no gunfire agreements. After about 15 minutes, he said, Indian soldiers started vomiting, collapsed, and fled. China then retook positions without firing. The imagery was dramatic. Turn the mountain into a microwave oven, cook the enemy. India rejected the claim quickly and publicly. Officials dismissed it as a cheap psychological warfare. India's Ministry of Defense stated that the story was fake. And there's a simple reason most analysts remain skeptical. There's no independent evidence confirming a mass vomiting incident like that. Could a microwave system cause severe discomfort in theory? A system similar to active denial could cause intense surface heating and pain, potentially forcing retreat at certain ranges. There have also been reports that China's researched handheld acoustic devices for riot control, aimed at pain and dizziness. But this specific Ladakh story reads more like propaganda than verified combat history. It projects technological dominance, it intimidates, and it spreads fast online. The lesson is wonder weapon stories are a favorite tool in information warfare. Treat one-sided claims like a loaded weapon. Handle carefully. Number 7. The brown note legend. To close out the list, we've got the most infamous sound weapon myth ever, the brown note. The claim is simple and absurd. There's a low-frequency tone that makes a person instantly lose bowel control. The idea gained traction decades ago, fueled by vague talk of powerful infrasound affecting the body. Pop culture made it immortal. One deep rumble and a crowd collapses in embarrassment. So is it real? No. A major TV science show tested it with heavy subwoofers and low frequencies. Other shows reported similar results. Scientific and military reviews of infrasound effects have found no reliable evidence that it causes instant bowel loss of control. What low-frequency sound can do at extreme intensities is make people uncomfortable. Chest pressure, unease, balance issues, nausea, sometimes blurred vision. But to get the myth effect, you need unrealistically high sound levels, the kind that are basically not achievable outside specialized conditions. And yet the brown note survives, because it's funny, and because unseen threat stories are irresistible. There was even a related hoax decades ago claiming a military device could combine ultrasound to create knockout infrasound. Later reporting suggested it was basically a scam, and the device was essentially just speakers on a vehicle. Here's the irony. If you want to disperse people with sound, you don't need magic frequencies. Sometimes you just need unbearable noise or embarrassing music. Make the area uncomfortable enough and people leave on their own. Reality is rarely as dramatic as the myth, but it can still work. After going through these 7, here's the message. Don't get swept away by every creepy rumor. When you hear about a super weapon that sounds horrifying on its face, ask 3 questions. Who proved it? Where's the evidence? Who benefits if you believe it? If this video did its job, you walk away with 2 things. A clearer understanding of what's real in the world of sound and frequency weapons. A stronger filter for stories that sound convincing, but aren't grounded. Now it's your turn. If you were a commander, what would scare you more? A directional sound cannon like LRAD? Or a night where radar, radio, and command systems all go dead silent at the same time? Pick one and tell me why. If you want the next episode to cover a specific weapon or any topic that's wild but still grounded, drop it in the comments. I'll read them all. That's it for today. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.